The Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Lady is an Isekai series based on a light novel by Piero Karasu. This anime is being worked on by Dia Medea, the same studio that animated Parallel World Pharmacy. The premiere was basically just establishing the protagonist, Princess Einspia Peltia, and other characters like her brother's fiancée, Euphilia Magenta. There wasn't a lot that went on in this episode, but there were a few things that kept it engaging. The episode began with a brief action scene as Princess Einspia helps a group of adventurers kill some wolves in order to gather materials used in a magical science she's developed called magicology. This was a cool way to introduce the character, as it shows how adept the princess is at killing monsters. I like how bloody this opening sequence is, even if it is just showing her covered in purple wolf blood. Also, the animation in that scene and throughout the episode was pretty solid. One of the interesting things about this episode is the fact that Einspia can't use magic and has to rely on drugs that her friend Tilty Claret helps her produce. There are plenty of isekai out there with main characters that are overpowered or extremely gifted in some way. Having a character that has to rely on an unorthodox method to utilize magic is a unique hook that can make for a very intriguing story. In the scene where Einspia visits Tilty, there's a moment when her friend asks her whether she felt any side effects when taking the drug. In response, Einspia tells her that she lost control a little bit and felt slightly addicted. This could be something that the show explores later on, as well as what the princess mentions about Tilty's past actions that almost destroyed a whole family. I think Karasu sets the protagonist up well as a bright, ambitious girl fascinated with magic. The author effectively establishes the perception many people have towards Einspia. Many people in the kingdom see her as an oddball or an idiot, while also acknowledging her skill. The scene where her father and brothers see the princess covered in blood after returning from gathering materials makes it clear that they don't think too highly of her. It's obvious throughout the episode that her younger brother Algard has some pent-up animosity toward his sister. It could simply be that he's fed up with her peculiar behavior, in which Einspia has continued to pursue her dream of flying through the air using magic for many years. However, I think it's more to it than just being frustrated over her actions like his father. It could simply be that Algard sees his sister as a disgrace due to her ineptitude with magic, given that she is a noble. Judging by some of the dialogue in this episode, being able to use magic as a noble seems to be a big deal in this world. It's mentioned that the princess willingly gave up her right to the throne so that she can continue trying to fly, breaking many brooms in the process. Perhaps I'm thinking way too hard about this, but maybe he resents his sister for making him the next successor to the throne. There isn't a direct indication that Algard doesn't want to become the next ruler, so I'm inclined to believe that that's not the case. Regardless of what the source of his hostility is towards Princess Einspia, it's evident through a couple lines of dialogue that he feels as though his path in life has been chosen for him up to this point. It's made abundantly clear that he has no interest in Euphilia and doesn't want to marry her. Algard sees his arranged marriage to the Duke's daughter as a nuisance and would much prefer to be with Lady Cian, who is the daughter of a baron. I thought the couple scenes with Algard and Euphilia were decent. The first of which shows how their involvement with each other is simply out of obligation. Unlike Algard, Euphilia is totally fine with the situation, but has a problem with him spending his time with Lainey. The second scene at the graduation ball, where Algard announces his enrollment, seemed a little too cliche to me. This felt like it was ripped straight out of one of those Otome Isekai anime that came out recently. Einspia crashing into the venue and interrupting this moment was a great way to break up the sad tone, as Euphilia is blindsided by Algard's serious accusations. The episode ends on a lighter note with the princess taking Euphilia away on her broom to go see their parents. Einspia tells Euphilia that she plans to ask them for her. I didn't know before watching this episode that this show has a Yuri element to it. That's one aspect of this anime that some people might not like, depending on how their relationship is written. Overall, I thought this was an okay start to the series. Although this episode was lacking in terms of action and there wasn't much going on, the introduction to these characters was still entertaining. Princess Einspia is already a likable character that kinda reminds me of Chisato from Licorice Recoil. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comment section below, and as always, thank you guys for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.